Good morning, folks. When we left off, we expected solar flares. This was due to the appearance of one of the most significant sunspots in years, and as yesterday's news was uploading to YouTube, we got an M-class solar flare. It occurred as the southernmost fields in the region broke open and snapped further south. There was no CME, but it was also not alone in firing. Had eruptive activity from the departing spots too, and another snap just behind the limb out of sight there. That one did produce a CME, but it will miss Earth by almost 90 degrees. We've got more filaments turning and lifting. One released north of that larger filament you can see dancing in here. HelioViewer is lagging this morning, or we'd be able to see it a bit better. The sunspot situation is spectacular despite only one M flare so far. Terrific size to these umbras, and a dearth of magnetic interaction regions. Tough to spot the actual delta NOAA is focused on, however. But we do have even more spots coming in right behind these. We'll get a better look at those tomorrow. 24 hours of solar wind here show calming, but for a dense wave that we're beginning to see this morning. Electrons are heading back towards the floor as the minor pressure wave struck, leaving us a bit more unstable, but still doing quite well in terms of the magnetic shield. That big southern coronal hole was supposed to give us an earthquake uptick, but the day after that was posted, we noticed the red high force area shrink by 70%, and one day later, the strong power is 100% gone. We can look to the limb to see the next one coming in now, another dark patch down there. Well, despite losing nearly all quake-making power, we did see a near 6-pointer last night off Japan. USGS went way low with their selection among those readings. We also saw a very rare tremor nowhere near a fault line, and a significant quake in California where we almost never see any shaking. A 3.5 might not get your attention, but consider that a 6.0 in Indonesia is regular and not scary at all, but only a 4.0 in New York could leave people dead. Mostly it's about magnitude, but every once in a while it's about the location. Now, while we're beneath the surface, we've got a volcano with serious land lifting near the China-North Korea border. Eruptions are expected soon. Let's take a quick look at the polar ice. Just as a major melt approached the Arctic to its lowest records, it is building back now and is getting a bit higher above its record low extent. Down south, after breaking records for 3 years in a row, we're seeing a bit of a struggle, leaving Antarctica at only the second highest ice extent ever recorded. Coming to the weather, a major hailstorm struck Israel, and it is heading east, readying to drop sandstorms on Bahrain and surrounding areas. That'll be one to monitor. We've still got the Serpico wannabe riding off into the distance down here. Other storm did indeed break east away from New Zealand, leaving those two southern lows as the major weather makers for this zone overnight and tomorrow. Watch how the clouds stick to the pressure nodes and the convergence lines. Still seeing strong winds and inclement weather off that Pacific system at the coastline, while the heat and energy flow out of the Gulf continues once more. We'll have the cold and rain to the northwest, and floods, hail, and tornado warnings tonight in the storm areas. Over in Europe, condensed low off Spain once again, another one to the north with a convergence approaching Ireland and the UK, with the remnant storms to the east of that over on the right. By now you should be able to see the pressure and know what the clouds are going to look like. I've got your current conditions and shots of our star to close. Eyes open, no fear, at 6:05 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.